We got 2 minutes. The realtors, they're going to be late.
Yeah, I just fill them with a small talk until it's time to go. I wish I could see Chris live. Can I see him in real time?
I wish you could too.
I can see you.
When he talks,
All right, hang on. So I could see him when he speaks. Okay.
I can see you the whole time if that matters.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I don't think Carrie's up to speed with it. So give me just a second.
Okay.
What's happening is I can't see him right now, and he can see me.
when he speaks, he goes on the screen. And when
But
you
that's
speak-
2 minutes late. I wonder if we could see each other real time while we're talking. All right, Chris.
Hey.
Hey, buddy, we're going to be broadcasting on our Worksaholic channel on YouTube. So the conversation that we're going to do, we'll have about a minute delay before it shows up on YouTube.
Okay.
And then folks are just logging in now. So let's give them another couple minutes to get situated, and then hopefully we'll have a nice half hour to spend with these realtors from across the country. They are starting to load in from all over the country now. We're seeing Florida, we're seeing Michigan, we're seeing quite a few from Texas and Denver. So going to have a good audience for sure.
It's nationwide, huh?
Nationwide, our little slice of Worksaholic heaven. We call it the Annie Mac Nation.
I wanted to sing that jingle. Nationwide is on it, right?
There you go. I like it when Peyton Manning does it.
It's probably a lot more talent than I do in all aspects, I'm sure, including singing.
I definitely appreciate you coming on and doing this. It's really a favor to me and to Carrie to have you kind of share some of the things that I'm not as skilled at as you are, I think.
That's very few things, but no, it's an honor. You know, I'm actually really excited because this is the first time out of my house. I'm in my office. You gave me a reason to leave.
Good. Look at that. We've got El Paso. We've got the Jersey Shore ladies on. We've got Katy, Texas on. We've got a nice group, and my good buddy Michael Cancio's on up in Nocatee, Ponte Vedra. So
Where's
what
that?
time? Ponte Vedra is up by the TPC Sawgrass up in Jacksonville area. Oh my gosh, Chicago's in the house. How about some corn? Oh my gosh, it's my old buddy Todd Marcus in where the heck's he at nowadays? Just south of Denver in Cherry Hill still, Todd? One of my favorite realtors of all time, partners and friends. You always still checking up on me to see what I'm doing, eh, Todd? Maybe I could have put on a jacket and a tie for this, but no, serious topic, guys. This is a heavy time for most of us. You know, I've flirted with the idea that I've been I use the term my spider senses were tingling, right? Because once you'd gone through a crash as significant as the 2008 Great Recession, man, you have a feeling in your gut that if that ever happened again, it's pretty memorable time in your life. I said to somebody the other day that if you feel like a dog that's been beat too much, you know, you start flinching every time you see that broom come at you, you know, or whatever that analogy is. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm honored and privileged to have an opportunity to work with you guys in whatever level of leadership that we can do together. And as you know, from the previous Quarantine Realtor events, our intentions are earnest. Our intentions are sincere. We only want to extend an olive branch to our realtor referral partners from across the country. We only want to dig up some of the fascinating best practices from some of the best realtors in the country. I think we've done a good job doing that. Last week, we spent some time on absentee owners, and anybody who's known me for any period of time in the residential real estate business knows that I've made a lot of money with absentee owner handwritten notes. I got some of the most beautiful emails and a couple texts from realtors that sent their first absentee owner notes out this past week. And not to any surprise of mine, certainly to no surprise whatsoever, some of them started to receive calls back from their absentee owner notes. So you're talking about an advertising mechanism during the COVID-19 social distancing, quarantine, self-quarantining, where these realtors for the first time in their career reached out to absentee owners and actually got calls back from sellers within 3 to 5 days of having sent them. So, you know, I'm very proud of the work that I've done in that sector of our industry for many, many years. And it was just a great opportunity to share it with you. So keep those emails and texts coming to us. Let us know how you respond to your sellers. Let us know how your achievements go with those absentee owner notes and those listing opportunities. During future weeks, we are going to be spending time on a topic that I'm excited about. I've been personally involved in it very, very intimately, personally calling and texting leads, getting back into the grind of a sales guy, right? I have a sales center in Southeast Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where I run a group of ISAs. Those are inside sales associates. And these ISAs call leads for me all the time. And we refer those out to a national audience of realtors. What I've learned in the past 18 months with lead conversion and seasoned lead follow-up, talking about leads that came in August, September, and October of 2019 that we're converting today during the COVID pandemic. So going to be real excited to share some of those seasoned lead processes with you. And then last but not least, we're going to get into farming. The last week in April, we're going to be focused on geographic farming, subdivision farming. Some of you have been lucky enough to attend Carrie Fitzpatrick's Farming Fridays 6-week coaching program. And for those of you who had been through that, you already know some of the real easy ways that you can farm a geographic or subdivision territory these days. But today, we're getting into database mining. And I brought in a friend of mine, top realtor in the area, and I'm going to be introducing him to you right now. But the reason that database mining is so interesting to me, many of you know me, 35 years in residential real estate, the original cold call cowboy, Mike Ferry trained, Tom Ferry coached, Craig Proctor trainee, a guy that really never bought into Brian Buffini's processes. I was a cold call cowboy from the get-go. I was smiling and dialing expireds and by owners, and even cold calling my farm with surveys. One of the very first listings I took with my buddy Todd Marcus, we cold called a house in Coral Springs, Florida, that was about $700,000 or $800,000. We listed it and doubled the deal, and it was from a good old-fashioned smile and dial $40,000 commission. And that's when that optometrist decided to get in the real estate business. He said, if old Russ can do this on a phone like that, I can do this. And I literally made my living smiling and dialing most mornings, the expireds, and certainly through for sale by owner follow-up that you guys know about. And today I've been introduced to this concept, and I want to tell you, in my intro video to this, some of you saw it, I refer to it as spying on your friends and family. Is it true that Google spies on your friends and family? Is it true that Facebook spies on your friends and family? Is it true that Amazon spies on your friends and family and knows what they're doing online? This is a whole new world of online behavioral analytics. It means if you shop for something, the vendors that are in that sector can pay to find out if you're shopping for that or not. And you can actually be scored for if you're shopping for a car or if you're shopping for an accountant. if you're shopping for a financial advisor, if you're shopping for a cemetery or a funeral home. If you're online digging around funeral homes, guess what? Funeral homes are going to show up on your Facebook page. Funeral homes are going to show up in direct mail at your house. It's just a new world order that has been created by the World Wide Web and the internet shopping experiences and these massive data analytic companies that can tell what you're doing online through your IP address. So I'm going to introduce a buddy of mine, Chris. Are you ready to go if I make the introduction?
I'm here.
All right. Chris and I have been friends for going on 15 years. Would you say, Chris?
Yeah, it's been about, I can't believe it's been that long, but yeah.
And how long have you been in the real estate business?
Oh God, 19 years right out of high school. College wasn't my thing.
Mine either. I wasn't good at following rules.
Amen to that.
But how did you get into the real estate business? If you don't mind me asking, how did you stumble into it?
Gosh, I was 19 years old, and at that time there was all those signs. I don't know if I ever told you this. There's all those signs on all the corners of the road to say we'll buy houses cash. I mean, I don't know if you remember that. They're everywhere. Signs. Well, yeah, bandit signs. There you go. Well, essentially what I did was I was a kid, teenager, and I was fascinated and I wanted to make money. So I wrote down never mind. I was going to tell you what I used to do in high school as an entrepreneur, but that might get me in trouble now. But I was always been an entrepreneur, and I would see all those signs, and I called all of them, and I just called them, and I asked every single investor, "I will work for free if you teach me this business." Well, one guy took me under his wing. I was an apprentice, and then from there, his wife she worked for Remax. She would end up listing it, and then I would work her transactions as a transaction broker. And that segued into, ended up being a real estate agent.
Who was your first broker owner?
Well, technically you were my second, but the first one was only for like a week.
Okay.
But to be fair, you're the first and only one other than my broker now that provided substance. You made it look like it was a business, not a job. And so I always always respected and admired you that. And then a lot of things you taught me back then, I still have it up in the noggin now.
Amen.
Yeah, so thank you for all that, by the way.
So I'm not a database mining guy, right? I'm a for sale by owner, expired listing, absentee owner, geographic farming guy, right? I teach that every day.
Yep.
I want you to answer me straight up. Do you call for sale by owners?
No way.
Do you call expired listings?
Nope.
Do you have a geographic subdivision farm area?
I do not.
Do you buy leads from Zillow?
Only did it once and for someone on my team, but no.
Do you buy leads from Realtor.com or pay-per-click elsewhere?
No, sir.
So every single thing I teach, you don't do.
No, the things I remember what you taught were more mental stuff than actual work stuff. Yeah, but no, I do not do what you preach.
All right. So we got the next generation of effective realtors, because here's a father of four with a newborn. How old's your newborn, Chris?
He'll be a month in 2 days.
So you gave birth to a bouncing baby boy?
He's a boy.
On about the advent of the COVID pandemic, right?
Yeah, they actually kicked me out of the hospital. Yeah.
You got four healthy children, including this newborn.
That's correct.
And you sell real estate. And I know for a fact, I looked it up on the MLS, you sold 51 homes last year. Did I get that number correct?
Last year was 48. The year before was 51.
Okay, yeah. My bad. I just got them mixed up. So here's a guy who's selling 4 to 6 homes a month, every month. Because your summer months are really, really busy in Southeast Florida and your winter months might slow down a little bit. I don't know. That's the way it always worked for me, but, and you don't call by owners. You don't call expireds. You don't call geographic farm areas. You don't spend a lot of money on marketing. All you do is database mining, which confuses the heck out of me. So could you tell me in your words, how do you describe what database mining really is?
Yeah, I mean, I can just go off on a tangent, right? And I know there's a lot of people who sell a lot more property than that, but I do it with very little overhead, ad spend, and very little, actually no cold calling. So essentially, I had an aha moment, right? And my wife got pregnant with our first child. I was always a realtor. I was closing deal every month and a half, but I wanted to get serious. So how do I break this down and not bore people? But basically, in a nutshell, my aha moment was when I wanted to get serious about real estate. I knew I didn't want to cold call and hate my life. Right? To me, I would have hated my life. It's cool for a lot of other people. For me, it wasn't my thing. Right? So I had an epiphany in my head was, wow, every single person who's ever hired me just happened to know what I did, right? So they just happened. I was a secret agent. They just happened to know, and I'm like, well, what if I create a system to make sure everyone that I know and then some know what I do and make sure they don't forget it? My business would only have to increase. And
So if I heard you correctly, Chris, you said that you went back and looked at all of your closed deals. And it seemed to you at that point in 11 that you weren't doing money deals with people that didn't already know you in some way or shape or form. You were doing all your deals with people who already knew you and they happened to know you were a real estate agent. Is that what you
it
just
was
said?
100%. Listen, at that time I had no kids and wasn't with my wife yet. My overhead was very little. There was very little motivation to do it. But everyone who did come in just happened to know that I was in real estate just from casual conversations.
So they already knew you, they already trusted you, or maybe trusted you, and they probably already liked you because you're already friends with them in some way, shape, or form. And that's when you had what you call an epiphany.
Yeah, that's it. You need it. Why don't I just tell more people and often?
Okay. So how big of a database do you manage that results in your 48 to 51 sales last year and then on into this year's production? How many people in your database?
I mean, it depends on what you consider a database. I would say email wise, about 2,500 addresses, about 900 physical addresses. But a lot of my stuff is via Facebook, which is probably around another 2,500 people or so.
So approximately 2,500 gets you to that level of sales volume. Do you have anything specific that you do that you call mining? Tell me some of the things that you guys refer to as the Cusimano method.
Yeah. So when I had my aha moment, I created a system, right? So the system was, how do I create a database from people that I already know, and then I figured out that if you went into a thing called Facebook, that's your database, and it's a database that people already want to be on. But so how do you create a system where you can make sure that you stay top of mind with those individuals? I can give you a whole, actually, I think, or we are going to give a quick rundown breakdown at the end of this. But recently, as of this year, and you alluded to this in your in your prelude, that I found this really cool tool where I can follow my people essentially on and offline, and it gives me a score. It's really cool. It gives me a score and tells me which people are looking to buy or sell soon. And I've been utilizing that since January. I mean, next week alone, I have about $42,000 in commissions coming in from it. It's a really cool system. And
Well, the tool itself, the spying tool that you introduced me to, is the reason you're sitting here, because I use the term fascinating best practices in our promotion. And I'm going to tell you, I am fascinated by that. But let's talk about some things that your folks that are listening today can do. Like you told me the Cusimano method was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Time blocking is a ritualistic, almost religious word for me. Like if I'm not time blocking, I just get lost. Right. So tell me how you manage the Cusimano method from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and what you did inside your database, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll tell if everyone has a pen, this is exactly what I did. So I printed up a list of all my Facebook friends, right? And actually, there's part of it here. I always have it on my desk, right? So I really do it. And what I did was I went down one by one, asking individuals for their email address and their physical address, right? And once I got around of that and I had a good database that I built up, I sent them letters and other things, but I created a system from that point. So let me give you an example. Every Monday, I would go into my office from 8:30 to about noon, and I'll make sure I start conversations with as many people as I can, right? Just random conversations on this list. And then if I don't have their email address and if I don't have their physical address or their phone number, that would be a good time just to, I don't just dive in, but during the course of the conversation, I'll gather that information, add it to my CRM. Now on Wednesdays, I do what's called personal notes. So Facebook's really, really cool. You can find anything. You can type in the word anniversary in a search, and then you can select only your friends, and you can select what dates. And anyone who had an anniversary and during those dates, it'll pop up. And then you can just get some note cards. Mine are probably at home because I brought everything home. And you'll just say happy anniversary or whatever, and you'll mail those cards. So I would do that, the personal notes on Wednesday. And during that time, I would always make sure that I'm cross-referencing their addresses through the tax rolls and stuff like that to make sure they're updated. So it was a way for me to stay updated. On Fridays is birthday card day every morning. I know this sounds really, really, really like simplistic, but I made my money with birthday cards. So no one gets birthday cards anymore. And so I'll have a stack of birthday cards and I'll go in for the following week, see whose birthdays are coming up, and send them a hand-addressed birthday card, handwritten birthday card. And I'll say nothing about real estate. It's just happy birthday.
Did you include your business card in it at least, or did you just sign it, Chris?
No business card, nothing. They know at this point in the process, they know you're a real estate agent. So I always I don't want to be disingenuous and say, happy birthday, hire me. You know what I mean? Because then it's kind of worse if you did that. Because if I got a card and it's like, happy birthday, I'm a dentist. I'd be like, oh, you only say happy birthday because you want something.
So from my memory, Monday was conversations. Wednesday was anniversaries and happenings in their life that you could note. And then Fridays was always the coming week's birthday cards.
That's it.
And that, would you say that those 3 time blocks, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, in your database contributed or did most of the business that you did during any calendar year?
Oh my God. Yeah. At least 90% of every year.
You also taught me that liking, friending, and commenting on social media when someone's maybe shopping for real estate. Can you just touch on that? Like, how do you kind of ingratiate yourselves to them through Facebook, separate from your time blocking stuff?
Yeah. So it's called a relevancy score, right? So let me try to break it down a little bit. Facebook gives you a score, like say Russ and I, we have a different score between you and I than between you and Carrie, right? So basically your score with Carrie would be a lot higher than mine. It's called a relevancy score. So when you post something, the chances of Carrie seeing it over me are a lot stronger because you have more interaction online than you do with me. And this is why Facebook does it. And I'll break down why this makes sense in a moment. But Facebook does it because there's only there's only so much time in the day, right? And they can't post everything. You can't see every single post that every single one of your friends put up there. So Facebook scores and rates everybody. So you're not going to always see a post that I put, and you're not always going to see a post that Carrie puts. But Facebook will use a number of factors, how much you engage with that person, and other things of that sort, to determine what will keep you on their platform longer. Because the longer you're on their platform, the more ads that you can see, and the more they can charge your advertisers. So, anyways, that's how the relevancy score works. So when I do message these people, it's through Facebook Messenger. When I do personal notes about anniversaries, I make sure I say something on their wall or I like something. And on the birthdays, the good thing about the birthdays, if you look in the week out, you're the first one to say happy birthday to them and you're on their page. So the more you're interacting with these people, the higher your relevancy score goes up. And that increases the odds of them seeing your real estate post.
Someone asked, do you also text them or call them for their birthday, or just send out a note and maybe like them on social media?
No, I mean, listen, there's no one way or there's no absolutes, right? So I try to do everything through the Facebook platform for that reason. I'm trying to show Facebook that this person deserves to see what I'm going to post next, usually about a listing of mine, right?
Yeah.
If you do it in text, Facebook has no idea. If you call them, Facebook has no idea. However, there are some people that never check their Facebook Messenger. So at that time, those people I'll call or text or something like that, but only in those situations.
Okay. So if the only thing we gave our audience today was a time blocking ritual of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with a database,
Are you pretty confident after 19 years in residential real estate that somebody could do their first 15, 20, 30 transactions a year just based on doing those 3 time blocking uh, decisions effectively?
And I did. I don't see why not.
And am I correct that you sell currently a training program called the Cusimano method, right?
Yeah, but I didn't want to come on thinking I was doing that, right?
No, not at all. I'm telling them because
okay.
I'm a fan, and I'm telling, I've never endorsed a particular product or anything, and I'm not doing that with the secret weapon either. But I'm telling you, I was freaking out because we're going to segue right now into what this secret weapon actually does. And I'm going to say this: if you have 2,700 people in your database and you're marketing to them all equally, you're making a grave error. Do you agree with me on that, Chris?
Well, yeah. So, let's dive into it a little bit. Let's just do the quick math in our heads. So a part of my marketing is once I had those list of addresses, about once a month, I would send them out a postcard or some kind of mailer to everyone.
Yeah.
And also when I'm reaching out to people, calls or Facebook, or whatever, I'm reaching out to everyone. But let's just say, if you can see my hands here, if this is your database and you only have this much time in the day, what if you're calling these people, but the person who wants to buy and sell are over here? By the time you get to them, they might have already thought of another realtor. So this tool here that called the secret weapon, it now tells you who you should be focusing your time. So let me break it down. So instead of doing doing postcards to every single person in your database every month, you do it to them once every 4 months, and then you double, triple, quadruple down on the people who are most likely going to move forward.
Okay, so now we're going to switch into the spying aspect of it. We did a thing called the baby crib challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your words, tell us what the baby crib challenge is and tell them what it means as it relates to this scoring system that Google and Facebook and Amazon and Ford and GE actually do every single day of the week.
Yeah, that's what the big players do. They follow you around the internet. Just about every single corporation would do what's called a pixel onto their website. So if you went on the baby crib, you went searching baby cribs, you went to Bye Bye Baby, and they'll pixel that you showed up and then start pumping ads. Pretty much across the board, that's what they do. But there's big guys, the big players, somehow, some way, they found out a way to gather more information about you, and they'll start sending you like baby formula in the mail, stuff like that, or even getting your phone number and having sales reps call you. And I was fascinated by this, about this process, and wonder if there's a way that we can do it in real estate, and there is. And I've been using it, and I've been loving it.
So I'm going to tie my bow on it, and then I'm going to let you loose on whoever's really interested in getting some of the digging. There's one other question that somebody asked that I want to get to real quick. Facebook business page or Facebook personal page for you, Chris?
All right. Well, I don't know how much time we have, right? But most of the stuff is through your personal page, right? Okay. You just get more eyes on that. The only reason I have a Facebook business page is, and again, this is going down the bunny trail that we're not going to go down, I guess, today, is that when you're posting video, you want to be able to create an audience from the people who watch a certain percentage of that video, right? So if you're doing Facebook ads, then you can retarget those people. But I'm not going to go down that bunny trail. Most of the stuff is all from personal page to answer that question.
Okay. And you didn't set out to become some sort of Facebook guru. That wasn't what this is about. This is really just about how do you perform inside of your database. What do you do on Monday? What do you do on Wednesday? What do you do on Friday? But now back to this scoring issue. Okay. In layperson's terms, your IP address is being monitored by Google, by Amazon, by Facebook. They then collect all of the data from what you searched. And I don't care if you searched pornography or poker or religion. They know it. Okay. Oh gosh. Some of my friends are already chirping me up about that.
Like, how does that always come to your mind?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a jerk, but it's seriously to think about the fact that somebody knows what you did online. Somebody knows, don't they?
Yeah. And why not take advantage of it? And the cool thing about this is that your competitors don't know this stuff.
Right. So I would like very much for you to turn on your kind of your PowerPoint screenshot and show them in 15, 20 minutes or so, everything that you know about this secret weapon and database scoring and why and how it's important. And I'm just going to stay here and listen as a student because I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, sure. Before we do that, I don't know how far back you want me to go. Do you want me to go to the Cusimano method of what I do and dive into it, or just straight to the scoring? I mean, what does the audience want?
Well, I would refresh every of the things that you actually do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and anything that you do from a technical or applicable takeaway that they can do on their own. I would like you to cover that, and then just wrap up on what this actual, what you call behavioral online analytics actually does.
Okay, cool. Well, I have a presentation that's typically 45 minutes, but I'll definitely cliff note it down to this.
Yeah, I think they would prefer the 15-minute Russ version, right?
Let's do the 15-minute Russ version. So, all right, so let me share my screen with you. I'll find good folks. Share. I love how you shook your head up there. You were worried I was going to actually teach for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think I get tomatoes thrown at me.
No, that wasn't going to happen. All right, let's get this done. All right, so can you see my screen, Russ?
Yeah, I'm on a little bit of a delay because of the YouTube feed, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that they can all see your screen. Everybody can see the screen? Yep, we're doing good.
All right, cool. So again, I'm going to clip note this down as fast as I can. There's a lot that I cover in my business, and obviously for time purposes, we can't do it all now. So I mentioned the first thing that I did was I printed a list of my friends, and you're probably wondering how I did that, which is right here. Very simple, really quick process. If you want to get pen handy or just save this, here, let me just start over for you guys. I'm sorry, I'm going too quick for you. So basically, here's a video of how you do it. You want to go down to your settings up here. Scroll down. And then on the left, you can see Facebook information. View and download your information. Unselect these checkboxes and hit friends. And now you're going to create a file. Facebook will email you. I know that's fast. But again, this is going to be on YouTube, so you can just go back and take a look anytime that you wish, or just reach out to me and I'll send you this little clip. So now I have a list of your friends, right? So the very first thing is going to do that. And I'm going to go down this complete list with you. Well, most of this list really quickly. So the first thing I do after I have their list, I go down one by one on Facebook Messenger and I ask them for their email and their physical addresses. I'm going to show you exactly the message verbatim that I send to people so you can have that handy. Then I add them to my CRM. I hope you guys have a CRM. My first CRM was an Excel sheet. So if you don't have one, you can start with that. Then I mailed them a letter with a magnet business card. The reason why I want to do a magnet business card is because you wanted to have some kind of value that they're not going to throw away. Half of them are going to stick to the fridge, and I'm going to show you the exact letter that I sent them to do that. So you can just copy that verbatim if you want. And then we spoke briefly about birthday cards and personal notes. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. And then and we spoke about relevancy scores, and also I'm big on videos and infotainment emails. The bottom section are more things that I do, but for time purposes, we won't cover them here. I want to get the most important stuff here and then dive into the coolest part, which is the database mining system. Okay, so after you have your friends list, step one, and you're messaging them, this is the actual message that you can copy paste. You want to change the word to hi X, and you don't want to use the word X unless it's your ex, right? So you want to change that to their name, and it says, would you be offended if I mailed you? Let me make this bigger. Would you be offended if I mailed you some of my business cards just in case you come across someone looking for a hardworking real estate agent? If this is okay, what is the best address to mail them to? And an email address would be great also. Okay, so 1 out of 3 people are going to reply with just one of these, and most people are going to ignore you the first time through. The second time through, you'll get more. So the wording in here is key. People don't like to be sold. So you're going to come off as, I would like to mail you my card in case you know someone else who might need me. Not you, someone else. And people like to help their friends, but people don't want to be sold by them, right? That's why it's worded that way. So I go down all my lists, and once I go through it, I start adding them to my CRM. Now, this is my CRM. There's a quick video of what I do. In my particular CRM, and if yours has this feature, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You don't need it. I didn't need it. I didn't start using this CRM until about a year ago. But in my CRM, if you have their home address, you can put it in there, and I'll find their neighborhood, and every month I'll email an update of what's going on in their neighborhood, right? And I'm going to put their birthday in there, and it'll alert you when the birthday is, so when you can send a birthday card. And that's all pretty much what this is saying. I'm assuming at this point you put them in, there's address. I guess I should have blurred that person's address out. There's a birthday. And then I simply add them to what's called a smart plan, add them to my neighborhood and birthdays. These people already subscribed. Very simple. So again, now every single month, this person is going to see an email from with my name showing exactly what's happening in their neighborhood. Again,
what CRM are you using, Chris?
Well, I don't know. I'm with Keller Williams. I use their platform.
Okay.
Is
that called KV or something like that?
Command.
Command. Okay.
Command. Before this, I was using another platform, but I really liked what they rolled out. So before this was an Excel sheet. So anyways, so now that you have all of these addresses and you put them on the CRM, you want to mail them a letter in a magnet business card. So this is the exact letter that I did in 2011 that I mailed to every single person. And again, it's worded very, very specifically. It says, thank you for allowing me to send you my card. I hope that you use it one day. Go ahead and stick it on your fridge. Call to action, stick it on your fridge. Seriously, thank you for your time. And if you have a business that you own, run, work for, etc., that I can refer others to, or that I can use myself, then please send me your card. I am sure that you are like me, that you would much rather give business to a friend than a stranger. Keep it.
That paragraph is crucial. I love that paragraph.
Yeah. So call to action, telling them that you want to help them as much as you hope they help you and hire you, and kind of tug on the heartstrings a little bit. Hey, use me, keep it in the family, no one else, right? That's the exact letter that I sent out. So that was the next step. This is really basic stuff, right? It's not that complicated. Just mailing stuff, essentially. Okay. So people might want to know, how do you know when it's people's birthdays? Well, first off, most of it should be in your CRM. If it's not, this is how I did it before I had a CRM. On Facebook, and again, I'll go quickly. I know exactly which word you're looking at on this page right now, Russ, by the way, before your eyes went. But on Facebook, you can find people's birthdays that are coming up very easily. You just, on the left, you click events, click on birthdays, and all the people's birthdays that are today, that were yesterday, and that are coming up all populate. So you can dive back in there and send these people birthday cards. If you don't have their address, you can ask them again. It's the way you stay on top of it. So personal note time. Let me go back a little bit. When it came to personal notes, well, basically on the left, you want to hear. Actually, you don't even need to go on the left. On the top of the page, you will type in something like anniversary, baby boy, something like that. And after you type it in, on the left-hand side, you can click your friends. You only want to see these from your friends. And you don't want to go back until 2002. You want to go back to 2020. And all these people who had an anniversary, or at least mentioned on Facebook, typed it in and you send them an anniversary card, right? So if someone passed away, unfortunately, or someone had a new puppy, or a kid graduated, or if they graduated, right? That's a reason for you to send out a note. And if you're trying to stay top of mind to individuals, this is how you do it. No one else is sending them birthday cards. No one else is sending them personal notes, right? They get that in the mail and like, oh my God, I can't believe this person cares that much. Be top of mind all the time, so you can you can be at the top of the mind when they're ready to hire you, when this market turns back around after this COVID thing.
Can you recap for them Monday, Wednesday, and Friday rituals and time blocking? Just because I'm a little fuzzy on it from recollection.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so the Mondays, here's your list. You go down, ask everyone for their addresses the first time through. Second time through, you just talk about whatever. Talk about dogs, puppies, football, whatever your interests are. On Wednesdays, right here, what I'm showing you on the screen here about personal notes, that's Wednesday, right here. And birthday cards, I do those on Friday, which I just showed you previously how to do birthday cards.
Okay. Now I want to get into this little bit more specific. So you told me a week ago when we decided we were going to do this, that you mailed to 2,700 members of your database once a month for most of your database mining career. Is that right?
Yeah, around that number. Mm-hmm.
And then now you've switched it to 4 times a year to the entire database with all the other database mining things. But what changed, and what can you tell us about this secret weapon real quick as we start to wrap up the conversation?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is just a little nugget of what I do in the Cusimano method, right? So I'm always looking for a way to advance and try new tools out. So a quick story is that I was on a listing appointment and a competitor of mine was there before me. And the sellers came to me and he said that, hey, it was like this guy was psychic. I started searching online about selling my property. And all of a sudden this guy started reaching out and calling me. Well, as a matter of fact, that person was a student of mine. And I just know that it happened. Why he timed it was because that guy's birthday was the month before. Anyways, not to go down the bunny trail, but the aha moment was when he said the word psychic, right? So what if I can be psychic? What if I can go online and follow people around and figure out when they're going to buy and sell? So I started digging, and I found this thing that I call it the secret weapon, which gives people just that. You load their email addresses into a platform and it gives them a rating system. Do you want me to just jump to that right now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that because we're getting a little long on my schedule.
Okay, cool. So this is what they do. So the secret weapon will follow people around based on their IP address, their email address, social media profiles, credit scores, and online shopping behaviors, just like the baby crib thing that we did earlier. And then it'll fill in the gaps, right? So see someone, they call this the 7 Ds. Someone died, they got a divorce, they got engaged, which are diamonds, they had a baby, which are diapers, someone graduated, diplomas, dumpsters, someone's getting a dumpster, they know they're about to unload a property, or someone's downsizing, right? Based on how they're searching online, they can go offline as well and kind of correlate all those data points and really determine by all these different points, and give them a rating system if they're likely to buy or sell anytime soon, right? So this is how the score works, and it's insanely easy. You plug in people's email addresses, right? And if they have a score 80 or above, their back research has found that 47% of those people have bought or sold within 6 months of it breaking that 80 threshold, right? And then it scores between 50 and 80. It's quote unquote elevated. It's not as high.
So you guys don't know this. I'm just going to chime in on this. Carrie and I have been shopping for a house for the past, really the last 3 months more aggressively. And in the last 30 days, we've been getting really narrowed down on making some decisions. The COVID pandemic slowed us down a little bit, but we're eager to buy this late spring into the summer of 2020. And we had asked Chris's mechanism to score Russ and Carrie separately, and both of us were scored well into the 90s because we're actively shopping on Realtor.com, Zillow, mortgage calculators, mortgage shopping. Give me a couple of examples of the clients that you've listed or sold recently and how their scores were on this system.
Yeah, I have a bunch of case studies. One happened yesterday, real quick. I don't have on here. My friend Danielle, her score popped up. It sent me an email. Danielle broke the 80 threshold. I immediately sent her a text. Just, hey, what's going on? How you holding up? Blah, 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 blah. Nothing about real estate. She was funny that you reached out to me. My husband and I are getting a divorce. I'm looking to rent a place. And once I find a place, we're going to sell and he's going to buy a place. It's like, great. And she goes, can you start helping us out with that process? Absolutely. So that was just, I don't have this in here because that
I know this happened because I'm aware your buyer's agent is showing her rentals this weekend, right?
Yeah, and I sent you a screenshot of it. I was excited. I'm like, look at this, it worked again.
How about one other real good example of how a score popped up? Your database notified you that there was someone that was scoring above 80 now. Give me another example.
I got a ton here, but let's just jump to one, right? So this one in particular, I had a listing appointment about a year and a half ago. This woman, Debbie, was referred to me. I don't even know by who. Grabbed her email address, and honestly, I forgot about it, right? When I loaded her in the system, her name popped up. You can see it's a 96. I didn't have her. I didn't even have her phone number. I shot her an email. She wrote back within a couple minutes. It was like, oh my God, thank God you reached out to me. I don't have I lost your information. I was about to hire the neighborhood realtor, but can you come? And then she's like, call me. I call her and she goes, all right, I want to do this. Come over and talk to my husband this weekend. We listed this property. We actually closed this on the 21st, $690,000 contract. Commission is $20,700. I would not have gotten unless this told me to reach out to this person. Same person. They want to buy a house. This house here, we're under contract. We close in the same day. $1.125 million. My commission is actually a discount commission on this, unfortunately. $25,000 there. So next, whatever the 21st is, Thursday or whatever, I'm gonna make $46,000 on this, right? pretty cool. I can go on and on.
What's most interesting to me, and kind of tying a bow on this, there's a couple questions I want to get to on the screen, but the first thing I want to note is if you have 2,700 people in your database, or let's just narrow it down to a round number. I've got 1,000 people in my database. It is probable and likely that 30 of those people will buy or sell a house this year. That's just a national kind of a range. About 3% of the people that are in any database are going to make a move during a calendar year. There's some databases that'll be more than that. Some will be less than that. But let's just say that 3% of the people in your database are going to make a move this year. What the Secret Weapon does, what the product that Chris introduced me to does, is it literally notifies you of which 30 are shopping, right? Is that a layman's explanation, Chris?
No, you nailed it. You nailed it. I mean,
All
how
right.
many examples do you want me to give?
So the product is called the secretweapon.info. Is that your site?
Yeah, so it's a secretweapon.info. You go in there and you pick the plan that you want. They charge you per contact, and it's very inexpensive, by the way. They charge you per, segments of contact, 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 200, depending on how many emails you want them to monitor. And that's it. And then you load your emails in there, and it gives you a score, and then you start getting to work. Do you want me to talk about the training that is involved with that, or no?
Yeah, there's a bunch of questions on the screen right now that says it's getting kind of sideways for a couple of people getting confused. So essentially, you have your own database already. You're a realtor. You load your database into the Secret Weapon, and let's say it's 1,000 or 5,000, doesn't matter the number. Then that system scores your database. That's what someone's asking right now. Is that how you use the system?
That's it. Yep.
Okay. And what you provide to these realtors, if they ever want to use that system, is very specific, granular training in the form of videos and or counsel as to how to use those scores and all that, right?
Yeah, there's a 12 video training course that comes with it. It shows you exactly what to do, in my opinion, on how to maximize.
No, I'm a fan, so I'm just telling them. You can database mine on your own. You can database mine on Facebook. One realtor online asked if you could database using LinkedIn. And I would say that exactly the same way that Chris database mines on Facebook, you could do on LinkedIn. I've always associated LinkedIn more with business to business, and Facebook more with adult personal interaction. The kids are all moved on to other social media platforms, but I've always, just a layperson, been in the real estate business my whole life. I think Facebook is the primary way to interact with clients, but LinkedIn is certainly a place to find executives and such. But to answer the question that was online, yes, it is a system. The service that does this scoring is a national service. Chris is just an outlet for it to resell it through the secretweapon.info. And I never endorse a product for 9.5 years that I've been doing Andy Mac Works. I don't sell any products. We just bring things to the table that are interesting best practices. And I, for one, want to say that confusing an old guy like me with the idea that I don't ever have to call a buy owner again. I never have to call an expired again. I don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on a farm area. That there's a way that you can teach me and the other friends that I have on this network to database mine effectively. I couldn't thank you enough for taking this time, Chris, and showing them really what you do every day.
Yeah. It takes a lot to excite me, and this excites me. Platform. So.
Well, enough said on that for now. I will feature Chris again if I get enough hubbub about it, and more people want more granular on the database mining and the Secret Weapon. But for now, if you want to Google Chris, it's Chris Cusimano. He runs a program called the Cusimano Method. And if you want to look it up, it's called the Secret Weapon.info. That's Chris Cusimano's program. And I'm a pretty big fan, and I've only heard about it for a couple weeks here. This is COVID-19 self-quarantining. This is us sharing best practices, what I think are fascinating best practices from some of the top realtors in the country. And if a guy can sell 4 to 6 homes a month, and make close to $300,000 a year or thereabouts, raising 4 kids, not spending any money on advertising, and really not spending any time cold calling, I wanted to introduce him to you. I really am a big fan of this guy. He's one of the young bucks that came up through my system back in the day, and to see him prosper the way he has makes me proud, like Uncle Russ, Chris. I really feel that way.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys, let's call it a night. The Quarantine Realtor week 3 is in the bag. We're going to jump back into week 4 next week on seasoned leads. These are your old, your tired, your dead leads, the ones that you think are dead. I'm going to show you how to bring them back to life, especially right now at the cusp of our economy reopening. Interest rates are so unbelievably low. Customers are eager. The demand is pent up. You have an opportunity to splash into the spring and into the summer. I think you could have your busiest summer ever. So it's my wish that we all get in the boat and row together. We all take time to learn how to do some things. And I once again want to thank Annie Mac Home Mortgage and the entire Annie Mac Nation. There's a lot of great mortgage professionals and realtors that are online. If you got a listing from your absentee owner notes this week, I want to know about it. I really am excited to hear about your success stories. If you take off with this database mining and you do some deals, I want to hear about that too. One more big thank you to Chris Cusimano, and a big thank you to the Annie Mac Home Mortgage family.
Thank you for having me.